Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews today. It's about that time. Let's go take that walk and see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews. Whoa, this is going to be a big beer. This is Avery Brewing. This is their annual barrel series. This is Uncle Jacob's Stout. Stout aged in bourbon barrels. And it was bottled on February 4th, 2014. This is a very, very fresh bottle of this. Paris sent me this beer. And let me tell you this. This is a 14.83% alcohol by volume. Typically, I would age this beer for several years before I would even attempt to pulling the foil off of it and popping the cap on it. But since he took the time to buy this and send it to me, I told you guys that I was trying to get those kind of beers that people buy and send to me, even though this is a monster beer at almost 15%. I know for a fact this is going to be a boozy beer this fresh. I mean, it's going to be hot, it's going to be boozy, but it's probably still going to be tasty. But I would, if I had bought this beer, I would put it in the fridge for several years before I'd probably have some Mephistopheles and maybe even another one down there of this bigger series beers that have been down there for several years that I wouldn't even attempt to go open up quite yet because I know they're going to be boozy. And Parrish, I'm going to review this, but don't take it to heart if I think it's way too boozy. But I know you spent good money for this and sent it to me, so I'm going to review it kind of fresh. So this is Avery's version of Uncle Jacob's Stout. And let me give you some background information, a commercial description. Jacob Spears, our sixth great-granduncle, is credited as the first distiller to label his whiskey bourbon. He built his distillery in Bourbon County, Kentucky in 1790, 203 years before began brewing. While obviously a bit too late to produce Uncle Jacob's Wash, we instead created something far more complex. In his honor, we present this robust, silky smooth, full-bodied, and altogether extremely American rendition of an imperial stout aged for 6 months in the very finest bourbon barrels. This explains a lot about our penchant for big brews. It's in our blood, and they do make some monster beers, brewed with Rocky Mountain water, malter, barley, flaked oats, hops, and yeast here on this one, guys. The ABV here, it says it's 17.42%, but it says here on the bottle on this year's version is 14.83. So maybe they've toned it back a little bit from last year's edition. I'm not really sure. I have not had this beer before. It does not have the IBUs listed here on this site. Let's see if it's on the other. No, it is not. And actually, Beer Advocate has the 14.38% listed here. So evidently they've got the upgraded information on this particular year's version. So let's go over to food pairings for this one. Cheeses of buttery brie, Gouda, Havarti, and Swiss. And since it is a stout, it goes well with your chocolate dishes, but at 15%, it's liable to overpower your chocolate cake. So you better have some mighty impressive chocolate to go with this beer. That's all I can say about that. The meat for this is beef, smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glassware's pint Becker, the non-encumbered snifter, oversized wine glass. I got the double glass for this one today, guys. And it says this beer can be sold for long periods. And I would say at 15%, this beer would sell it for 20 years, guys. It absolutely would if you sell it correctly. So that's all we need to talk about. As much as I hate to pull the foil off of this and do this at 15%, because I know what it's going to be like. And this is coming off in little bitty pieces, so I hate that about their foils. Let's see if we can get the cap open without it getting into the beer. I've even got the foil under my fingernails here. Get it tight against the bottle here so it don't flake off. Get into the glass. Don't feel like drinking any aluminum foil. Alright, down the center, I don't think this is going to pour any head at all. Well, look at there. Look at there. 15%er. Almost a finger of head on that. Wow, I didn't think it would pour any at all. I really didn't. Into the light, there is none. It is pitch black, guys. It is black, black, black. Looks very good in the glass. Yeah, here we go. Let's get a nose on it. Whew. Alcohol, this is a big beer. This is a sipper, guys. If you've got this beer, or if you can get this beer, you better sip on it. Because this one will put your face down in the dirt. Last beer of the evening. Chocolate, roasted malt, bourbon, alcohol. Did I say alcohol? Wow. Monster beer here. This is a monster beer. The bourbon and the alcohol is predominant in the aroma here. You gotta have your big boy britches on to drink this beer, let me tell you. I would have loved to have cellared this for a while, but it wouldn't have been fair to Parrish to do that, for me to sell on this beer 2 or 3, 5 years, and you know, and he spent money to buy it and then to send it to me for me to review. But Parrish, don't take it personally if I think it's way too boozy. Oh well, guys, it is what it is, and you can see the head has dissipated as it's barely covering the beer right now. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, brother. I appreciate Paris. Down the hatch. Big beer. Big, big, big. Not overly big though. Wow. Chocolate, caramel, roasted malt, toffee, bourbon, vanilla, a little bit of coconut, dark fruit. Very complex beer. To be quite honest, to me it's more boozy in the nose than the taste. It is boozy on the taste, but it's not overwhelming. For an almost 15%er, either my palate's adjusted over the years for these monster beers, or it's a very well made beer. Wow. Nice and sweet, enough bitterness on the back end to balance it out. Very well made beer. My hat's off to Avery. They've done a wonderful job on this one. Even though it's a monster beer, you just gotta know. I mean, if you're expecting, if you don't even read the label and you pop the cap on it, you're gonna be in for a surprise. But you look at it and you say, oh, this is 14.83%. This is the kind of beer you buy 2 of them, and you drink one fresh, and you put one away for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Then you try it and see how it's mellowed out. But you gotta realize though, your palate changes. The more of these beers that you drink, and the more different beers that you drink, your palate changes. If you're fresh into craft beers, if I'd have tried to drink this 4 years ago, it would have blown my palate out of my mouth. I mean, it would have been way too boozy, way too heavy, way too thick, way too. But now that I've been doing this for about 5 years now, it's my palate has adjusted. I used to think the Dogfish 90 was just awful, and now I love it. I mean, my palate has adjusted, and I like those super hoppy beers. And I've had some Dogfish 120 down in the refrigerator for several years, because when I first got into craft beers, I didn't review it, but I got a Dogfish 90 and I popped the cap on it, and it just blowed my head off. It was just way too hoppy, way too syrupy, way too alcoholic, too boozy. And I've had a bunch of my subscribers ask me if I was going to review it at 120, and I am. I'm gonna pull one of those out. I probably ought to get a fresh one. I might even do a side by side. Get one I've had in the fridge for 3 or 4 years, and get a brand new fresh bottle and do a side by side on a Dogfish 120. That may be coming up this summer. I think they just come out again with their this year's edition, so I may try to snatch me up a bottle of the fresh one and do a side by side with one that's 3 or 4 years old. So, but this review is about this one, and it's pretty damn tasty. But it is a big beer, guys. Nice beer to fire up a cigar. What do you think? Let's let it warm up. Let the other half taste it. We'll come back and do the final chug. I'm pretty impressed with this. Avery does some great stuff, though. I mean, they're into those big beers, though. They like to do those blow your head off beers, and this is pretty damn tasty. So stick around. I'll be right back, and we'll do the final chug on this one. All right, guys, I'm back. Got just a little left on this one. This is a very delicious beer. Bottling date on the bottle. Now that I got the beer out of it. 3/13/13, so this was done about a year ago, so very nice, very impressive, but a great big beer. Just be aware of that. This is almost a 15%er, and it is a little on the heavier side. This is a sipper, not a chugger. Final chug. I just said not to chug it, didn't I? Bourbon, dark fruit, brown sugar, figs, dates, raisins, a little vanilla. Awesome. But I keep saying this. I want you to be aware that this is a big beer. If you get this fresh, it is going to be a little on the boozy side. This one's about a year old, so very nice. Very nice. Me personally, like I said before, if I would have purchased this bottle, it would probably still be in the fridge for several years to come before I would even break it out. But it has mellowed out just a tad over this year's period, in my opinion, and it's pretty tasty. It wasn't as boozy as I expected a 15%er to be, but it is a big beer. Just be aware of that. If you're not used to drinking big beers, this is going to be a big surprise on your palate. So, guys, it's a 9 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. Not quite to the 10 level, to me, because of the booziness. But if I had to cellar this beer another couple of years, it's a good possibility that I would have gave it a 10 out of 10. But right now, still just a tad on the boozy side, but you got to remember, it's a 15%er. As long as you're aware of that, I may be conservative on my grade. It may be a 10 beer. I would not argue with that number at all. If I seen that number or somebody said, "Oh man, that's the best thing I've ever had," absolutely, I would not argue with that. So, 9 out of 10 for me tonight, guys. Let's see what everybody else thinks about this. We'll go over to Beer Advocate first. Beer Advocate says 98 in the world class range. That's exactly where I would put it. I mean, between 97 and a 99 is what I'd give this beer tonight. So we'll go over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says, oh, here we go, 100 overall and 99 in the style. So there you go. Would not argue with the 100 overall, and would not argue with the 99 in the style. That would be about where I would put it, between, like I said, 97 and 99 myself. So if I would sell this beer a couple more years, I would have probably gave it to 10. But it is what it is. A year-old bottle of this. This is their Avery's Uncle Jacob Stout. Very nice. If you can get your hands on one of these and you're into the big stouts, this would be a very nice one to put your hands on and Even put your lips on if you can. So, guys, that's what I'm going to give it. If you've had this beer, give me some comments back on this one, whether you liked it, didn't like it. I did like it. Parrish, thanks again, brother, for sending me this. Looks like I got to go to the beer store and get some beers. I'm about running all of the beer mail beers, and unless I start digging some more out of the fridge downstairs, I got to go buy some. So, all right, guys, we're out of here. Hit the like button, rate, comment, subscribe, and let's go see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.